calories. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, when it comes to diets, the only thing that I would, because I have experience in using it, the only thing that I'm a proponent of is the Mediterranean diet. When I was on that, basically eating salmon, leafy greens, fruits and vegetables, and nuts, and I was working out on my total gym for like 3 times a day, I looked like fucking Bruce Lee. It works. That Mediterranean diet and a total gym, you're good to go.
3 times a day, man. You're a damn machine.
Well, why'd you give it up? The picture you have, you look like hell.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Well, he looks what?
No, the depression kicked in when my mom died, and I have kind of slacked, but I've kept a lot of the progress, but
yeah, those things like that, they do suck. I was pretty wrecked when my grandmother died, and my other grandmother is now in the process of dying, and it is she's not going down quite as steep a hill, but it's still a downhill ride.
Yeah, my mom had metastatic cancer all throughout her body. I guess she had like a tumor that was in her breast, and it just went all throughout her body. And last day of her life, it was low. It was hell. It ate away the top part of her spine, and it was bad. But
Sorry, Rev.
Yeah,
thanks.
sorry.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, my trick is to get back to where I was in. Well, before my thyroid died and turned me into a Jabba the Hutt instead of Princess Leia.
Nadia, come on. Jabba the Hutt.
I gotta agree with Michael Ann and others. You're not Jabba the Hutt. I mean, if you want to get down to 145, 150, that's actually healthy for your height. If you're trying for 135,
normal BMI.
that's
okay. Again, normal BMI range.
Like
Again, normal BMI range.
Is my dream weight, and I'm 5'8".
Yeah, I'm about the same height as you, Nadia. And when I was really, at my really good, looking good weight, I was like 155, 160. That's like super lean with muscle. So, yeah, I don't know if you want to go that low, Nadia, but it's up to you.
Okay, where is the BMI chart? Or there are charts to this stuff, and I am hunting for it.
Me Jabba no bother.
So it looks like
Jabba will speak to me. You will be well rewarded.
it's different for males and females. Where is it? 6'0".
That little rat thing that was with Jabba was really annoying. Almost as annoying as Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I really loved it when R2-D2 gave him the taser action.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm actually okay doing what I'm doing because, like I said, it's the bottom end of the normal weight range for my height. I can see the 6'0". Why is it not letting me highlight? Ah, crap. Oh, you see where my mouse cursor is? That's where 120 pounds, 54 kilos, and 6'0".
Is that for a female?
That's for females, yeah. That's,
okay. All right, Nadia.
NIH. It's from the NIH. So.
Nadia, do you remember what Vlad was telling you a little while ago?
Yeah? What? What about it?
Well, I don't want to bring it up, but do you remember what he said about the body mass index and, you know, gender?
Well, okay, just make the argument, because...
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
I'm not.
you-
I won't do it. I'll let it go. But yeah, I think you know what I'm getting at here. I don't want to, you know, bring up stuff like that, but he's right about it, you know.
I seem to be just over
The only
the
re-
yellow into
only-
the green, or just over the green
The
into
only reason the BMI really matters is because a range of healthy weights associated with a given height are associated, for some reason, with BMI statistics. And the 6'0" and whatever, basically like 26 kilos is like the overweight range where I'm at now. So I basically want to go from the top to the bottom of the healthy weight range, right? That's not a unhealthy change, right? I'm still in a healthy weight range, just going to the other end of it. So
yeah. Yeah, the main reason I haven't ballooned up is because, in spite of my sedentary lifestyle, I simply don't eat a lot. I mean, I think there are very few days that I even hit 1,500 calories.
I'm not planning to go above 500 for a very long time until basically I hit my target.
You just have to consider that your bone structure is bigger, you know, and that weight, it's once again, you can do what you want to do, but
My normal weight was the same place I'm saying to get back to. I was already there.
yeah, and you looked gaunt. You looked very gaunt, Nadia.
Yeah. Just keep your electrolytes up,
No, I didn't.
because
Yes, you
Harry
did.
Shivo had a
I'm
heart
being
attack.
honest with you. I'm being honest with you, Nadia. You looked like a skeleton. You looked very gaunt.
You look good
The
now.
golf look.
But you want to shave off some fat and things like that. That's cool, but I don't. You don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11". I got down. I'm at 152, and people are telling me I look skinny as hell.
How tall are you?
5'11".
That's not too bad.
No, it's not. But my brother saw me. He said, "You're looking thin." That's probably why I lost a lot of weight. I was down to 130 at one point because I went on water for like 25 days, and I got scared as shit. I looked in the mirror. I was just like bones.
Wait,
Oh
how
my
do
god.
you water?
Water and this green drink. I was trying this health program, and I didn't feel like eating, so it was just water and some green powder. I think it fucked my body up for like years. I looked like a skeleton. I got scared as hell, and I just started eating again.
My thing was when size 34 waist pants started getting too tight for me, and I was tipping 220 on the scale, and I was like, fuck that, I don't want to go to size 36. I mean, I used to be size 32, but no, I'm happy with size 34. I want to stay that way.
Yeah, I should probably be in a 32, but I like some more room in my pants, so I'm a 34 too.
Nadi's on a mission, so there's no stopping her.
I also don't wear a belt, so that's the other thing. If I were to drop too much, I would need a belt.
Yeah, I got a belt. I have to go all the way to the end of the rung on my belt, the last rung. I got to really, since using the, I'm telling you, I'll put an ad out for Total Gym because after I got Total Gym, that thing cut my midsection out like mad. Like I was almost at a six-pack. So Total Gym was good.
I bet it would if you were going at it 3 times a day. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's intense. It's a really good workout. It's cardio too at the same time. So because it's what they call resistance training. Basically, it uses your own body weight to build your upper body. And it cuts out everything. everything. It just gets you really good. It's a good machine.
Yeah, I tried at the store. It actually like feels really good to use. It's it's like put your body in like a really good position.
I've got to get me one of those now.
Yeah.
They're not much money. They're not too bad. Go ahead, Fudd. Sorry.
Yeah, I could stand to have more muscle mass, but I'm just too damn lazy to do the work to do it.
Twiddle Jim, eh?
It cuts you out, man. And the way they tell you to do it is that you put your feet and your legs down on the pad as you're pulling yourself up. You're gonna get past that after you do it for a while. When you lift your legs and start pulling yourself, that's when you start cutting your abs out. Like it's a great machine. And they have attachments now where you can actually get weights for the bottom of it to build even more muscle mass. It's a great machine.
They got a bunch of different versions, huh?
Yeah, I got mine back in 2008 when it was on QVC for like half price. So now they probably have new models with even more stuff for it. So yeah, it's a cool machine.
If I had stable living circumstances and income and so on, I'd probably try something similar, or otherwise go to the gym. But unfortunately, I don't, and I never will.
I don't need
I
machines.
will never reach my target weight. I will die before it happens.
Oh, well, so you'll reach your target weight post-mortem. Hell, you might even exceed it. Or go way, 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 way below it.
Yeah, Palm, you're right about that. You don't need a machine, but the Total Gym is actually fun to use. Like, you'll actually find yourself wanting to work out. Because before I got that, I just had basically, the big ball, and I would do push-ups and stuff like that, but it gets boring, Total Gym, it's actually really fun to use because there's so many different positions that you can get on it, and it's great.
Yeah.
I always needed the equipment to compensate for weak knees.
I don't have money to buy equipment.
Resistance bands down here.
I have bad knees too.
What?
Resistance bands.
I mean, shadow boxing is good exercise. You just get up, you kind of do the the Muhammad Ali shuffle, and you just do some shadow boxing, and that gets the adrenaline pumping too. So yeah, you're right. You don't need machines. Just a suggestion, testimony of this cool machine.
The machines are there to compensate for various kinds of injuries and weaknesses.
Yeah, the salt that's used for the ion exchange system in the water treatment facility in this house comes in 40-pound bags. So that's my weightlifting.
Well, I sent those
And a
videos
few
to
other
you,
things.
so check them out.
Yeah, that's not going to be able to be done in the street.
Well, if you're on the street, I don't
No, they
think
know where to
working
carry.
out is going to be your first problem.
It won't be, but anyway. The one thing I do have under control is, I guess, the ability to refuse food.
Well, with this thing that you're putting together now, you might make a lot of money on it, so that'd be cool.
Well, if I could make it software, yeah. I don't think I can.
Are you and Fudd working on that together? Maybe making an app or something?
Kind of, sort of, not really.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, not really. Yeah, it's kind of up in the air. I mean, I've been inspired to try out an iOS app based on what Nadia's been doing. Building a proper database is really a key thing, and potentially the most difficult thing. But Because then the app would just be a front end to the database and have pre-programmed queries for displaying the information you would want. And you know, there's other shit that would probably be useful for, like, if you're able to actually have time to cook for yourself, for example, and you want to know what's in your homemade food, that starts to become more data entry intensive. That is, recipes and things. But for packaged foods, boom, hit the scanner, and of course they've got the nutrition labels right on them too. So
this doesn't tell you. You don't tell it what you are eating. It tells you what to eat. So there's a different sort of question involved than what you're proposing answering.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a big proponent about, it's about what you put in. I mean, if you're putting natural stuff in your body, minimal workouts, you really don't have to. If you're not looking to really be like a frickin' underwear model or whatever, you don't need to work out a ton to get a pretty good look. But it's all about what you're putting in as fuel. If it's a bunch of processed crap, it's going to be rough.
Well, there's one simple rule. If you consume fewer calories than you burn, you will lose weight. If you consume more calories than you burn, you will gain weight. And that's really, it comes down to that. It's that simple.
Yeah, but the problem is when you don't have a thyroid, your metabolism goes to hell.
True.
Which means you're burning fewer calories.
Never mind.
Yeah, and that's part of why my calorie targets are so extreme. Because I don't have a thyroid anymore. Or at least not a functioning one.
Interval training will boost your metabolism if possible. Like intense exercise for like 30 seconds, then rest for like a minute, then run, do it again, and rest, do it again, rest, do it again, rest.
Yeah, Palm's right about that on the side. 4,000 calories plus a day, keep their body weight, very active, eat greasy, buffed, not fat. That's true. What I was wanting to go for was sort of the lean look, but cut, sort of Brad Pitt Fight Club type. And I'm telling you, Mediterranean diet and total gym. That's my advice to anybody that wants that look, sort of Bruce Lee, Brad Pitt type thing. It works.
So that's a lot of fat on that diet, like oils, olive oils and stuff and all that sort of thing?
Good fats.
Yeah, good fats.
Salmon. Salmon is I'm telling you, if you're a salmon fan and you can stand eating it like every day, because that's what I did. Salmon, fruits, veggies, nuts. Well, not so much nuts at the time, but salmon, fruits, veggies, total gym. That's what worked for me. So.
All right. You've mentioned salmon. Now I want tuna. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
Yeah, have you ever seen the what the Olympic athletes eat during the Olympics? Because they go through so much food, it's crazy.
No, but
yeah, I think Michael Land was mentioning Michael Phelps. Well, I know he like 10 to 15,000 calories a day.
Yep.
But he was eating crap like pancakes and all
I'm
sorts.
so glad he's not my kid. Oh my gosh, I'd go broke. Because teenagers eat enough anyway.
Well, he probably made a bunch of money, I'm sure.
Yeah, now, but can you imagine him growing up? Oh my
Now
god.
Now he can support you.
He'd eat you out of house and home.
Yeah, with Phelps, you have to remember, I mean, the guy was what? He's training like, however many hours a day, every day. That's hardcore stuff. So I mean, he's basically taken anything he's taken in and converting it to energy, and whatever he doesn't convert to energy, it's I mean, that's Olympic athletes are a whole different deal. That's certainly not the majority of America. So.
My daughter met him when she was about, I'd say, 8 or 9 years old, and she came right up to his midsection. And she remembers he called them into the pool area. This is in Colorado Springs because that's where he trains. And she freaked out and didn't want to take a picture with him because he was wearing a Speedo, and she thought that was so gross. I was dying. So you put a picture standing away from him, get away from me, you weirdo.
Hey, is he a tall dude?
Very tall, huge upper body, he says. But then again, she was 8 or 9, so of course everybody's tall. But the fact that she came up to the section, just I died.
Yeah, swimming will definitely cut your upper body. Go ahead, Nadia. Sorry.
Yeah, applied to soy milk. This has 45% USRD calcium. This is the original version, 90 calories. The light version also has 45%, and that in 60 calories, right? That's freaking brutal as far as knocking a major nutrient requirement out with
How much sugar is in it?
barely any calories.
Also, boobs.
It doesn't matter because it's 60 to 90 calories, whatever, right? What you were saying?
I was saying also, if you want boobs, soy milk is the way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want what is the way to go?
Boobs. If you want boobs.
I bet 2 words.
Boobs.
I want boobs, and what is the way to go?
Soy milk.
Soy milk.
Soy milk. I inject my actual estrogen.
Yeah.
Her point is there's estrogen mimickers in it. That's why I don't do soy anymore. That I go with almond milk and that type of stuff.
The soy milk has the calcium. The almond milk doesn't. Read nutrition labels.
Yeah, but almond milks are fortified, so they do have it.
Yeah, I don't want tits. So.
You said it's fortified almond milk? I didn't see.
Yeah.
I didn't see the fortified almond milk. This stuff has 35% iron in 120 calories. That's freaking cereal. The food scale is how I'm actually keeping it down to 120. So there's that.
Have you noticed any palpitations or anything? Being on low calorie like that?
No.
Heart palpitations? Something like that?
No. No.
Do you guys ever see that Seinfeld where he got a man's ear or a brazier, whatever?
Oh, George's father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was dying. I miss that show. Why am I echoing?
You're so awesome.
I don't hear you echoing.
I think Nadia has a little bit of a feedback.
How am I getting feedback? I'm on my headset.
I don't think it's her.
I'll try the internal mic. Just in case. Sometimes the earpiece feeds back through the microphone boom.
Let's see.
I changed over to the laptop mic.
I don't hear it anymore.
It's fine.
Might have been in.
Yeah, it's gone.
Where is R1? He's usually here by this time.
Oh man.
Oh please, I can live without that for a few days. The release.
Dude, he is crazy.
Oh come on, guys! Hitler did nothing wrong.
Your weapons never exist.
The next trick, of course, is V8 has the lowest number of calories to get 100% vitamin C or more.
I love V8. So I buy that in the 24 pack.
Yeah. It's like 70 calories to get, I think, 170% vitamin C.
I mean, I'm curious, what kind of diet would Hitler do?
He was a vegetarian, actually.
One can here is 170% vitamin C.
How much
And
sodium?
only 70 calories.
How much sodium?
How much sodium?
10,000.
920 milligrams.
Oh.
I'm not under a sodium restriction on my diet, so I'm not too concerned.
V8's good stuff. The red
it is.
I'm
stuff.
supposed to be on low residue.
The regular V8's good, but the splash and that stuff, that's crap. It's just like sugar.
Actually, the V8 Splash right here has 70 calories for 100% vitamin C.
Damn.
But not all of them are that good.
How much sugar in that one now?
It's got 70 calories. I got 16 grams of sugars, but like I said, 70 calories. You want to compare it to the regular
Yeah.
V8 right here? Okay. Has 9 grams of sugars, but it's also 70 calories.
Okay, cool.
It has high doses of vitamin C.
Yeah, this blows past 100%.
Just stick an IV in there and in the V8.
Cures cancer.
Fortunately, the vitamin C upper limits are not very tight. The vitamin A upper limits actually are. The upper bounds on how much vitamin A you're supposed to take in are actually more of an issue than the lower bounds for it.
What's that? 10,000?
For vitamin A?
Yeah.
Let me double check
10,000.
again.
That's like micrograms.
The vitamin A upper limit is 3,000 over 900 times USRD. Sorry, 3,000 whatever it is. And the 100% vitamin or 100% vitamin A thing is 900. So it's about 3 1/3 times. So basically 333% of vitamin A.
What's that in milligrams?
Sorry, 333% of the USRD8 of vitamin A is the upper bound. And that actually limits things. I've tested it. I'm cutting calories further.
But if it's coming from natural sources like carrot juice or something, I mean, not going to cause a problem too much.
Why does the source matter?
Why does the source matter?
Yes.
Because it's a different chemical constitute.
No, vitamin A means vitamin A. Same chemical.
Yeah, it's just basically chemistry.
Well, if you took a whole bottle of vitamin A and then you drank 4 gallons or 5 gallons of carrot juice, you're not gonna get really sick from the carrot juice. Well, yeah, you will.
Yeah, you'll be sick anyway, right? Because you overdosed on vitamin A.
Might turn orange.
I don't think vitamin A overdoses turn you orange.
Yeah, orange is the new black, didn't you hear?
Yeah, oranges have keratin in them, which is what gives you the orange tone if you eat enough of them. And I think very few people are capable of even doing that.
I don't mind carrot juice.
But anyway, here's my quick recipe. 5-ounce can of albacore tuna packed in water. Squeeze the water out. Tuna in a bowl. I used a dash of Cajun. Call it somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon. Dollop of Hellmann's mayonnaise and a dollop of Tostino's medium salsa.
I'm drooling, baby.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm mixing up right now. I've got it in the bowl. I just haven't mixed it up because you got to break up the tuna because you compress it when you squeeze the water out. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want to see vitamin. I want to see the vitamin info and all that stuff.
yeah, I don't know what the nutritional content in it is. The tuna is almost pure protein.
I'd be careful on that one. I have found that the meat's actually not that impressive as a source of protein, or as a source of iron.
Well, tuna doesn't have much iron in it at all. It's not a red meat.
Red meat doesn't do that actually either. It's weird, but it doesn't.
Huh.
Really?
Oh, beans.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't.
You can.
I wasn't really. What do you call it? I didn't measure the ingredients. I mean, I only know the size of the tuna can that I opened. Everything else, it was just, you know, a dollop or a big glop of it. In the case of the salsa and the mayo, I think I used a bit too much because it's a bit runny here. But I didn't bother looking at the packaging to see what it has. I do remember looking at the tuna before, and it's virtually all protein. There's no carbs in it. There's a little bit of fat, but not much.
Yeah, for me, when I'm doing the canned stuff, I'll take a can of salmon, pop it in a bowl, some fresh lemon juice, lemon pepper, a little bit of lemon pepper. That's basically it. Maybe a little, agave nectar or something for sweetening, and you're done. You're good to go.
Yeah, I think the most efficient protein source from natural sources is eggs, egg whites. The body metabolizes protein the most efficiently.
Absolutely, by far, yeah. The iron is tricky though. I don't know what this has. It has in it that has so much iron.
My water has
Oat clusters with cherries and almonds. Oat clusters with cherries and almonds. So, granola, almonds, and cherries has 35% iron.
Before the water treatment system
Maybe how that works.
installed, I think it was 35% iron too. The water would stick to a magnet.
Well, with a lot of those cereals, Nadia, with a lot of those cereals, the nutrients aren't like naturally in it; they fortify it with it, So maybe that's where it's coming from. I don't know.
That's what they do with all foods that are in packages like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's been taken from some other source and translocated into whatever.
So basically, you're taking a cheap multivitamin when you're eating it.
Right.
Actually, you're taking an expensive multivitamin.
Well, yeah.
A multivitamin.
Does it actually work any better? Does it actually work any better in terms of absorption? Because multivitamins have the issue that they're
generally not entirely digested.
Yeah, the problem with the vitamins is they're too concentrated. I mean, I think the only way a vitamin supplement is going to work is if it's like all ground up and you take it with a bunch of food so that your body actually has time to absorb it.
Yeah, nurses constantly find vitamins in bedpans, They totally unabsorbed.
Maybe if you're taking liquids or under the tongue, sublingual, those are expensive though.
Well, that's the trick though, because that's not a pill, right? So
yeah, and those pills
get the iron on there getting absorbed.
Yeah. Of course, tablets are mostly chalk. It's all filler.
But still, we're not talking about tablets. We're talking about cereal. So does the iron get absorbed?
Well, you can buy multivitamin powder.
Sorry. I would hope that the vitamins in cereal are more easily absorbed. Otherwise, it's just one of those stupid sales gimmicks like Total, so, you know, that has 100% of your RDA of all these vitamins in one bowl.
Right. Some of the powdered vitamin mixes are good. I tried Beyond Tangy Tangerine for a while. It's the stuff that Alex Jones promotes.
Oh, you tried that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it any good?
The thing is, Flip, if you take more of it than you need, it slows you down. It makes you feel like you want to sleep all the time. But if you take the recommended dose for a day, I think it's basically like 2 scoops of it plus the water. It's good stuff. It makes you it gives you some energy. It's pretty good.
Who's the doctor that makes it? Is it Wallach?
I believe so. Yes.
He's got good stuff, man.
Yeah, I didn't try any of the other stuff, but Tangy Tangerine is pretty good. I also got some of that One World whey protein.
Oh yeah, like the unfiltered, like. How's that been working for you?
It was good, definitely good stuff. You could down a cup of that stuff. You won't want to eat for the whole day.
I need to get me some of that stuff.
They say hemp is like the perfect food, like for protein, for fats, like hemp seeds and hemp protein.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet, but I'm sure that's the case too.
Check out hemp seeds. They're pretty cheap, like online, like from Vitacost. The company Vitacost, you can get them cheap.
Cool. Yeah. I really feel it's a lot about protein. Like protein fills you up.
Yeah.
You pair some protein with like oats, so like maybe oatmeal or something like that. You could eat very little and be full for like the whole day and have energy.
Absolutely. When I was losing my, how much was it? 60 pounds. I was eating oatmeal every morning. It was awesome. I was actually, I could not finish the bowl because there was just so much of it, and I was still losing weight.
There you go, Art. You know what you're doing.
Oatmeal's badass.
Yeah.
Some cinnamon, put some. What else you put in there? Honey and cinnamon, that's it.
Yeah, I used to put honey in it, but now I'm gonna be more with the artificial sweeteners probably, if I'm gonna do the diet again.
I cannot deal with aspartame. It gives me serious headaches. I've not had a problem with saccharin other than it tastes really horrid if you accidentally, as a child, mistake sweet and low for packs of sugar and cover your cornflakes in it.
Yeah, I used to be a big sweet and low guy, but I've kind of cut out all sweeteners, so I'm to the point where I don't need anything. But yeah, sweet and low was mine, but aspartame, can't handle it, hate it.
Yeah, if I'm going to use sugar, if I'm going to sweeten something, I'm going to use sugar.
I can't tell the difference between sugar, aspartame, or saccharin. And bear with me. I need to.
Stevia is really good, but some people don't like the aftertaste of it. But
Yeah, I try stevia. It doesn't sweeten all that well from my experience, and yeah, you're right. The aftertaste, there's some kind of weird. Do you like it, Flip?
Yeah, but there's certain brand, I forget the brands, that they don't have the aftertaste. They got a soda called Zevia. I drink that like crazy. It's like so fucking good. You got like root beer, grape, orange. You have to get a little bit used to it. Once you do, I wouldn't go back to anything else.
Yeah,
they got them at Stop and Shop now.
Cool. Yeah, for me, it's Aside from fruit juices, I'm just a coffee guy. Like coffee, water, fruit juices, I'm good to go.
I gotta go back on some nutrition program. Greens, steamed vegetables, salads.
Spinach. Ah, good.
Spinach, love spinach. Asparagus, all that stuff.
Actually, spinach has in it a steroid that is not anabolic, so it doesn't give you the negative effects. So Popeye was kind of right. It actually does
Wow.
give you...
That's cool, Art. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you have to eat like 2 kilos of it every day for it to have an effect.
Holy shit. That's a lot of spinach.
I was actually trying to do that, but I gave up. And I love
2
spinach.
kilos?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you drown it in olive oil, put some sea salt on there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, when I get spinach, I just take it raw right out of the bag and just down it. You know, the leafy spinach, it's actually like, it looks like a leaf. I just grab it like chips. I just eat it. I love spinach.
Oh, the baby spinach, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there's a baby spinach. Is it like baby cabbage or something?
No, it's just young.
I gotta get a member of a co-op because that shit gets expensive.
Actually, I suspect one of the big keys for nutritional food to work is to maintain proper hydration, because water is a solvent. So if you can get it to actually be solubilized, then your body can metabolize it. Otherwise, you're going to dump it out in the throne.
Right. You know what, a very important thing to watch is sodium intake too, because I notice that if I eat like too much processed stuff within a certain amount of time, like I'll start seeing like my midsection start popping out for no reason. I'm like, what's going on here? I get off the processed stuff for a couple days and it just goes away. So it's like you might think that you got some extra weight on you that you got to lose. It's actually just water weight from sodium. So just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, if you're eating a lot of processed food, yeah.
Yeah, well, pills to allow you to retain water are basically salt.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to watch the sodium intake it can mess you up especially with the water. I mean, you could get 10 pounds 5 pounds of water weight on you in a couple days if you eat too much sodium. So
You should get like natural, like called real salt or sea salt at least, you know, not non-iodized.
right.
Actually, you're better off with iodized salt, especially if you live near a nuclear reactor that's had an accident recently.
Good point.
Well, no, your thyroids take up iodine. They don't care if that iodine is a stable isotope or a radioactive isotope. The radioactive isotope will kill your thyroids. That's why they give out iodine pills to people who are in high radiation areas.
That's true. And now over in Japan with Fukushima, lots of kids are developing thyroid tumors from that stuff. So you're right.
You could load up on kelp. I heard it got a lot of iodine in there. We're all gonna die anyway.
Yeah, it's the quality of life that matters.
Exactly. It's like, what is his name from Game of Thrones? The small dude. What is his fucking name? He had this awesome quote. He was traveling to some kind of barbarian forest and he got surrounded by the barbarians. And the barbarian is like, so Tyrion, son of whoever, how would you like to die? And he's like, in my bed, with a belly full of wine and a horse cock, around my horse mouth around my cock, so I can botch that quota.
The fuck?
That would work, I guess. That sounds pretty good.
I'm gonna give the exact one because that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
How old age?
I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather. Unlike the screaming passengers on the bus that he was driving.
Fun in his dark humor. I'd say jump out of a plane, but sometimes people survive that.
Well, you know, there's no difference between falling from 30,000 feet and 1,000 feet. You reach
Really?
terminal velocity either way.
I'll have to make a note of that. 1,000 feet, eh?
Although the
You could
oxygen
survive,
level
though,
at
couldn't you?
30,000 feet is not enough to keep you conscious. But apparently the secret to to surviving falling out of an airplane that disintegrates in the air is to be belted into your seat and have as much junk around you that's attached to you in some way or another. And you don't want to hit water because it's like hitting concrete. You want to hit like dirt or mud or grass or something like that. And you can do the skydiver thing and steer yourself. But yeah, it's exceedingly rare, but people have survived falling out of airplanes without a parachute.
How badly did they get messed up? Like, pretty badly?
Yeah, kind of, but
completely
apparently
frozen.
there was one case where a woman landed in the middle of nowhere, found a river, went downstream, came across a village, and was able to get medical care.
There's the quote, guys.
Where?
I'm screen sharing. And also, yeah, I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, I would say that's even better than dying falling in your sleep. You know, that's pretty good.
Fucking Game of Thrones. It's gonna be what is it, 5th season, right? Should be like the next month.
Yeah, I never got into the show. It's good, huh, Art?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, but there's a lot of nudity. I guess that's why you're not exactly a fan of it. Or you don't mind nudity?
Yeah, I never watched an episode of it, but I've heard it's really good.
It is good, yeah.
Pam says don't jump off a bridge.
Good advice.
Hey guys, can you hear a background noise from me?
Brick water, going to crush.
Just a little bit, Art. It sort of
Okay.
sounds like an air conditioner or something like that.
I know there's a construction work next to me.
I'm hearing an annoying Russian.
Well, I cannot do anything about that, I'm sorry. Me and that annoying Russian are a one-pack deal.
Art, you fucking rule. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take off for the night. Really good talking to you. Good discussion.
Take care.
Hey, take care, Rev. See you later.
Later, Rev.
Peace out. Love you guys.
Can't you hear that, really?
That I can hear.
Okay, is it loud?
Yeah, I heard that. It was annoyingly loud.
Okay, sorry.
What are you guys doing up this late?
It's not late for me. It's actually morning.
Oh.
Yeah, but I haven't slept all night. My sleeping cycle is completely reversed. But hopefully, luckily, in about an hour and a half, I will get my job, and then I'm gonna be having a normal sleeping cycle and some money. Finally.
What job are you going for?
I'm supposed to be an assistant of a postman driver.
Oh.
I'm gonna be lifting heavy loads with him because it's not a regular kind of post driver. He's driving a truck between the post offices and he gathers all the packages and there's just a shit ton load of them. So he needs some help with the loading. So I'm not going to be even driving. I'm just going to be sitting next to him, and whenever he stops, I'm just going to help with the loading and unloading.
Well, now, why did I think you were also a mechanic?
I am a mechanic indeed, but I don't really like to do this professionally. I wanted to be an engineer, actually, but didn't have the grades from primary school. I did want to do a sort of special kind of continuation study to give myself a what is it called? High school diploma, which would allow me to go further. I could have some higher education then, but it didn't work out. I was ill, and I just could not continue. But my main goal right now is to make a computer game, and I actually have already something made. It's not complete, but I think I can get there. Definitely.
You made a computer game?
Well, I'm kind of in the process of making it right. I already understand certain mechanics. I've been playing with Unity engine, coding in C#, making some 3D models. I think I can do it. Just need some time. But in the meantime, I need to have a job, to pay the fucking bills.
How long does that take to make?
A game?
Yeah.
Oh, it depends.
Is it like pretty
Normally,
involved?
well, normally it takes like 2 years for a year or 2 years for a whole company to make a game from scratch. That's building your own engine. But in the recent years, they've been released game engines sort of for sale. They're like basically game editors. So basically, you already have the engine built, and it will allow you to write scripts on how to control the engine in depth, like every functionality, and you can just build your own game, and it's much faster to do it.
Wow.
Especially with C#. You don't have to, because usually you have to build it from scratch, like how to draw graphics, how to process models, how to process sounds, and that takes a year, if not more.
Oh, and
Unity engine. Yeah.
that's kind of done for you?
Say again?
That's kind of done for you in the engine.
Exactly, yeah. I don't have to program any complex formulas, how to draw graphics. I just plug in, the 3D models, the textures, and I just tell the game how I want it to be controlled by the player and what kind of mechanisms, which is much more simpler.
Doesn't sound simple.
Well, there is still quite a big element of complexity to it, definitely, especially in the kind of game that I'm making. I'm going to be building a quite complicated damage model for spaceships. I'm going to be simulating internal damage, internal functionality. Every component in the ship is going to have some function. If it's damaged, which depends on the strength of the hull, the type of projectile that hits it, on what angle.
Oh, so you're inside the spaceship and then you're like just taking damage and trying to like survive?
It's gonna be a capital ship.
Too much.
Oh no, it's not a big hit. There is a game kind of like it coming out, Dreadnought it's called, but mine's gonna be more of a real-time strategy, kind of like Rome 2, except with spaceships. There's gonna be strategic map and a tactical map, and on the tactical map, you'll get to control big capital ships, and basically Yeah, my main selling point is gonna be the detailed control, detailed damage system, and an in-depth strategy layer, kind of like what Rome 2 has.
Yeah, I saw you and Ocean playing that. That's the type of game that sucked me in.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually considering making a Rome 2 or Total War game equivalent, because at the moment, Rome 2 and other games in the Total War series have a monopoly, and not because they're that good, really. It's because just no one else tries, because they're afraid to build up an engine on that. But now with the Unity engine, I think people can do it. I can just start out with just a few nations, perhaps, and then through crowdfunding, build up, the necessary capital to pay actual artists to build the models and textures for other sort of nations, and we can make a game that will hopefully compete against the Direct Assembly, which is the company that makes Total War games. So yeah, I'm positive. I mean optimistic, so that I can make it. But I need some job right now to pay the bills. Yeah, so that's my story. That's my plan.
Is there any one of us that is not screwed up in some way?
Well, I'm screwed up in so many ways, dude. I can talk days about it. Fucking hell. Maybe, I don't know, okay, I think Palm Jam is the only one who's not screwed up here.
Palm Jam's like probably a multi-millionaire or something.
Yeah, like a 70-year-old multimillionaire. There's nothing else to do. Like, I've tried everything. I've driven in Ferrari cars, had sex with 10 hookers at the same time. Google Hangouts is the last thing that I've been tried.
Well, the Hangout for me is a sort of a decompression thing, because on Sunday morning through the afternoon I was doing a bunch of coding and working around glitches in the well, there's DRM involved that I have to get around, which is a pain in the ass because it wasn't working properly.
You build databases?
Well, no, actually, I'm not building a database right now. The coding I'm doing is straightforward, a straightforward little utility to learn how to read barcodes. That's all. It's not something I even plan to sell. It is strictly for my own experience.
Do you know how to build databases?
Well, yeah. Well, not writing database software, but if given an existing database like Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server or what have you, I'm perfectly competent at creating a schema and setting up the tables, putting them in, and I've stored procedures.
Like let's say you had a product that you had a barcode on that you wanted to put in the Home Depot, but you wanted the Home Depot gun to scan it, and then you wanted Home Depot to get a certain percentage, and the rest would be deposited into your account. I mean, can you do stuff like that? Is that possible?
I would have to get a business deal with Home Depot for something like that. But those barcodes.
But that's possible. That's possible for you to do. Could have used you like 5 years.
Yeah, but they've already got that. I mean, they use the barcodes at their point of sale.
Right. If you wanted to have your own product that you sold at the Home Depot, let's say, but you wanted to split it up with their scanner, there's ways to do that though. There's ways to program it. You could program it into their. Oh, I don't even know. I forgot.
You're being a little too abstract for me.
Yeah.
I've never done points of sale services.
But you could charge a lot of money for building those kind of databases, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, well, yes, but they already exist. But depending
I
on
know. I actually built a Excel table for a company that sells cakes, and I just got like, what is it, $50 for it.
yeah, Excel is very limited, but yeah, you can do
I don't know.
data
Through
sets
Visual,
with that.
I
through
like
Visual
finding.
Basic, you can do a lot of shit there. I actually did a whole complete inventory program using Excel, which would print stuff, collect statistics, just tons of stuff. Yeah, I love playing with Visual Basic and Excel.
Yeah, okay, at a previous company that I worked for, they asked me to. They had purchased an off-the-shelf analytics package, to uh, analyze their web log, their web traffic, and it was based on Microsoft's Jet engine, which is what's used by Access.
Hmm.
And the problem was it would choke at 100 megabytes worth of data. And I mean choke hard. It literally fell down. And we were getting more than 100 megabytes worth of hits on the log. When you combined all the log files, we had more than 100 megabytes per day. So it would take 4 or 5 days or even a week to process 1 day's worth of server traffic, which was a problem. And they wanted me to fix it, which was also a problem. Because I was like, I cannot fix this. It's fundamentally incapable of doing the job. And I ended up writing a number of Perl programs to parse the log files and put the data into an Oracle database.
Well, something similar
could
happened to
handle
me, actually.
those large data sets.
Well, something similar happened to me, and because the company that was selling the cakes bought themselves some kind of inventory software, and they could not figure out how it even works. And I just said, guys, for what you're doing, I can just make a Excel table, and that's it. And I did.
Yeah, I mean, an Excel table will handle small data sets quite nicely, and you can put in, the various rules and such. In fact, you're more familiar with Excel than I am. I've never used Excel. But as long as you're working within its limitations, it works quite well.
Well, you can have in one Excel sheet, you can have up to 35,000 rows, and each one of them can be a data point, and of course it can have what is it called in English? Fucking hell, rows, and then you have what goes
Rows and
vertically?
columns.
Columns, right? And you can
You
have
have virtual cells that are applying a formula to a column or to a row.
oh yeah, and actually, did you know that you can actually write code like conditions into the cell itself when it's calculating the other cell's values?
Yeah, I'm aware. You use VBScript to do that.
Oh no, not like inside it. The VB script is kind of outside of it, but in Excel itself, if you just click on a cell and you want to calculate or add two cells together in that cell, you can use if statements, and statements, logic, basically. So if the cell's value is over 100, right? Yeah. Just kind of useful. It's kind of primitive,
Yeah,
but still
they're
useful.
calculated data cells. But I mean, I'm familiar with spreadsheets in general. I just don't work with them. But here's the thing: the company I was working for was getting tens of millions of page requests per day.
Oh fuck! Okay.
In the late 90s.
Yeah, Excel would not handle that.
Yeah, and neither did Access. It fell down, just flat out fell over, because there were, there was a combination. There was something like 14 different Spark servers running Netscape Enterprise server that was generating the log files, and the servers were round robin, and there was a really big machine to handle the Oracle database, but the point is the log files are generated in text format in a particular format that's specified by a format line. I won't go into the details because that's irrelevant, but the point is there were hundreds of megabytes worth of data coming in just on the log files alone each day, and the Access database had was only capable of dealing with 100 megabytes, and it was getting several times that. So the software that they were trying to use for their in-house analytics was simply falling over flat. And my solution was to basically write my own, because it was not too difficult to do. I went through several iterations, but I mean, because originally I was dynamically generating Perl regular expressions to do the parsing, but the regular expressions turned out to be too slow. And ultimately I went down to using primitives that you could write that had analogs in C, for processing the data, but I would dynamically generate the necessary code to parse the files and populate the particular tables and rows in the Oracle database with that information, at which point you could perform any query you liked against it. And it went from taking, well, the off-the-shelf product that they tried to use, like I said, would take at least a week to process 1 day's worth of log files. I got it down to several minutes.
Damn, you're like Alan Turing.
Not at all, not even close. It's just that I use tools appropriate to the job.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just watched recently the Alan Turing movie. It's really awesome, by the way. That's what kind of reminded me when you said, oh, it took them like a week to do this kind of, mundane thing. Fucking hell, stupid sound. Never mind. Can you guys still hear the sound?
Yeah, we hear it.
Is it annoying?
A little bit.
Okay. Hold on a second. Fucking construction workers.
Welcome back, by the way, Nadia.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Oh, let's see what the competition is. At 1:38 a.m. Pacific and I guess 4:38 a.m. Eastern. And Czech Republic, it's, what is it, 10:38?
Yeah, I'm in the 4:30. Well, just turned to 4:39 now. I got a doctor's appointment today. That's kind of suck ass because my sleep schedule is so fucked up.
What time is your appointment?
It is at 5:45 in the evening, and I've got to drive through the main line, which the road that goes there basically has the absolute worst traffic during rush hour.
Hey, Nadia. Noticed your views weren't really that high yesterday, and there was no other hangouts really going on. I wonder what's up.
I don't know.
There was a lot of hangouts going on yesterday.
There were. Like what?
Gosh, there was like 3 that were interesting. I want to say that Xbox did. I think that was the day before. That was Saturday we're talking about, right? We're talking about Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday.
What is it, Sunday?
Saturday or
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, yesterday it was Xbox. Before that it was I think Johnny KZG, who had like tons of creationists. Adam P was there. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening yesterday.
Yeah, Saturday there was a lot. I'm sorry. I just was.
Uh,
Oh my God.
yesterday for me is Sunday.
That's why I asked, and everyone said Saturday.
Oh, did they? I guess it's because they're still up. I guess they're on the old Roman time system where the day doesn't change until noon rather than at midnight.
You would have
As far
think
as I'm concerned, it's Monday morning.
you had Vaughn and Annabelle, Brandcam.
Oh wait, Annabelle was in this hangout?
Was that yesterday or the day before?
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why you didn't have so many viewers.
Not entirely. Yeah.
I'm kidding, Annabelle. I'm kidding.
Oh, that's
It's
a
not
little.
like a.
No, you had the
Yeah.
Von Annabelle thing going on.
Annabelle will get a conversation going.
She will not shut up. She will
The
talk to
only one
herself,
talking.
essentially.
It'll be going.
Yep.
It's not like I'm actually making any money off this.
Well, you do it from Patreon, and that's because of these hangouts, right?
Basically, but it's.
Well, I've said it before.
Yeah, advertising revenue, etc., is not really coming in.
Yeah, I've said it before. Oh, go ahead. Finish.
I still haven't gotten the postcard with my PIN from AdSense, so I'm in trouble there.
So you cannot take the money?
AdSense won't cut a check until you hit the $100 threshold.
It's supposed to have sent a PIN, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nadia has like $180 a month on there, so it should be basically this month, any first month.
Well, in my lifetime, I've only ever received 1 check from Google AdSense. And it took me 3 years from signing up for AdSense on the website to accrue the $100.
Now, well, that depends on your views, of course, right?
Well, no. It depends on the click-throughs because when Google first came out with AdSense, they did pay you for ad impressions on your website. But that is no longer the case. They only charge for click-through. They only pay you for click-throughs.
But we're talking about website. Okay, I thought you were talking about YouTube videos.
YouTube, I have not attempted to monetize at all. My understanding is when they first came out with the partnership program, you needed a minimum number of subscribers and a minimum number of average views per video. I didn't even come close to that. And when they first started the partnership program, it was invitation only anyway.
Mm.
And now that you can apply for it, but I mean, it's just, unless they're going to pay, well, shit, I don't even see ads on YouTube because the browser I use for watching YouTube videos blocks them all. So,
Pretty sweet.
I mean, unless they actually start modifying people's videos to put pre-rolls in them, which they can do with the Flash player, but I don't use the Flash player. I use the HTML5 player because I have Flash disabled.
You should sell T-shirts, Nadia, like with your image on it, with like a catchphrase like, "Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?"
Excuse
Stuff
me.
like that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You should totally do that.
Yeah. Nadia holding up and, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse me, excuse me. That would be great.
With modern technology, you could even embed a chip in the shirt that just simply is constantly saying, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
I'd buy it. Or autograph Mountain Dew bottles. And sell them.
The Nadia dance needs to be trademarked also. I mean, if Taylor Swift can trademark Down with the Beat or whatever the fuck that phrase was, then I think the Nadia dance can be trademarked as well. So that every time someone does the Nadia dance on camera, they have to pay money to Nadia.
If somebody had the time, they should go through all the videos and just like pick out 2 or 3 minute clips of like the best of. Nadia can just put them on our channel. Like Von fights and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
She misses meltdowns.
I thought about a highlights reel and was immediately scared off of the idea by the simple fact that there's 24 hours a day worth of footage almost, except for those occasional skips. So, I mean, it's just too much to go through.
Hey Art, how many times have you and Shameless went at it? 615 times?
Oh, dude, we've been okay. I'm one of the first guys that Seamus has met, and we've been arguing since. It's been like half a year. Like almost every hangout, some kind of argument.
Yeah. It's entertaining though.
Well, thank you. I do my best.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. I'm on Fridays and Tuesdays. Don't forget to tip the waitress on your way out.
Oh my gosh.
Elvis has left the building. Yeah, I think I saw.
Guys, we've been talking to Jesus actually in another hangout a few hours ago. Me, Xbox, and Saka, Redline. And damn, it took him 2 fucking hours to say that he's a black Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah. Usually how it goes.
Like, dude, what's your position? They're like, well, in those times, it's not that simple. You guys do not have the scholarly knowledge. Africa, why is Africa called Africa, guys? Why is America called America, guys? It's like, dude, what's your position? Dude.
I would be very different. I'd give you GPS coordinates. They wouldn't be where I am. They'd be where I would like you to be.
You're gonna give the coordinates of my butthole or something?
I'd give you the GPS coordinates for the caldera in Mount Etna, or Mauna Lea, or any other active volcano.
Well, that's nice. That's nice of you. But I expect that from atheists. So I would not never fall into your trick, so to speak.
Well, it's not like you could go there anyway.
Okay, well, if you mean because I'm broke, yeah.
No, it's because if you go there, you would, well, on your trip to that spot, you would literally be incinerated.
Not if I took a plane. Booyah. I destroyed your argument.
GPS is a three-dimensional system, so it includes the distance from the center of the Earth, meaning when you follow the coordinates. It doesn't matter if you're using an airplane. It puts you in the lava.
Well, I will find a way. I will find a way, sir. I'm gonna cool the lava with bottles of vodka. And then drill through it. Something.
That'd be a lot of water.
No, vodka. I said vodka.
It would be a lot of water.
Huh? I said vodka, dude. Don't insult my heritage.
Oh, vodka. Okay,
Yes.
well, the vodka will ignite and just keep burning.
Art doesn't drink water. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, what the fuck? I'm insulted. Genuinely insulted.
Oh, get yourself a skin.
Mm.
Yeah, I have no comeback to that.
4.0-RC4. Wow. I am missing out badly.
What do you say, Nadia?
4.0-RC4. I'm missing out badly.
What the hell is that?
Is that a robot?
No, that's Linux. It's pre-release kernel.
Oh,
Bumping the version number to 4.0.
Damn. Last Linux kernel I built was in the 2-point-something series.
Yeah, I was 2.6, but anyway.
But what was I going to say? Yeah, one thing I do regret is letting the AdSense account for my old website expire. I got a letter. They were telling me it was going to expire, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't care. I have no plans to come up with a new website. After it expired, suddenly I realized, you know what? I'd like a new website. And it turns out that, no, you don't get to reactivate your old account. You have to start a whole new one from scratch. And so currently I'm in the stage of the process where you have a test ads on your site, and they want to approve your content before they actually, start displaying ads.
You really make any money off AdSense? Well, I guess it depends on the popularity of your site, but
Yeah, it depends on the traffic. Like I said, click-throughs. And with my old site, it took 3 years before I accrued the $100 minimum that they cut a check for.
I don't ever remember clicking on an AdSense.
Well, AdBlock will block AdSense.
I click on like picture links, like somebody selling a product or a CD or something, like what do you call it?
Yeah, I was
Not really
limiting.
membership, but what's that? What?
Yeah, I was limiting them to text only.
I forget what they call it now. When you get a percentage of a company product sale, if they click through. I lost all the terms.
Yeah. Well, the other end of the program is called
CPM.
AdWords, where
There's
companies...
CPM,
Oh, go ahead, Nadia.
CPM, CPC, and CPA. Cost per milli, when it's per 1,000 impressions. Cost per click, and cost per acquisition.
Yeah, that's what the advertisers are interested in.
No,
That is, when you're displaying ads, you're interested in the click-throughs because those are what pay you the money. When you're an advertiser, you're interested in the total cost of the advertisements versus the actual conversions, that is, ads that lead to actually selling your product.
Acquisitions.
Acquisition. That's all that matters to an advertiser, cost per acquisition for the acquisition.
Well, there's usually, I don't know if it's usual, but there's kind of a three-tier thing where, of course, the CPM is like almost nothing, but like mostly non-zero. CPC is, per individual click, kind of notable, and then CPA is, of course, almost like a fraction of the revenue. You're basically getting a cut of the revenue if you're CPAs.
Affiliate ads, that's what I'm talking about. Where
somebody sells a car, somebody like sell a car, and that's your acquisition. You get a few $100 off that.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah, because it was weird too, because different ads when they were clicked on would give you different amounts of money based on. Well, Google uses an auctioning system. Like the advertiser uses the AdWords program, which is supposed to place their advertisements on relevant content sites in order to maximize the, in order to minimize the cost per acquisition for the advertiser. Although the advertiser has to have well-designed ads as well, so they're also interested in all those statistics.
Are you using analytics? What? Like Google Analytics?
Yes, I have Google Analytics hooked up, and there's also a Webmaster Tools thing that is attached to that. And if I get approved for AdSense, I will also connect that.
Do you use like the keyword tool to like figure out the best keywords? Oh, you're not paying for it.
Well, I'm really only interested in the ads on the website for the purpose of defraying the cost of the website. The purpose of the website itself is to make me a known developer and to help me when I get product out, get it noticed among the over 3 million other competing products.
Did you research like the competition on the keywords you're trying to target and all that?
Well, actually, I'm not doing the I'm not buying advertising, so no.
No, I mean are you writing like articles or blogs like to promote your site or?
Oh yeah, I am.
I mean, are you like using the keyword tool to kind of like figure out like the best keywords to target and all that?
No, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm still doing stream of consciousness type writing. I have to hone my blogging skills. And also for code that I write that is not something I want to keep secret, I put it on GitHub so that other people can see it. Currently, I really don't have any followers on GitHub, but the point there is basically to just, show my code. Because, the industry is basically a meritocracy.
It says give 3 to 5 days after the date listed above, and it may take 2 to 4 weeks to arrive depending on the postal service. So 2 weeks from March 15th. So between basically March 30th and April 15th. I may be gone before it actually arrives.
Well, if you have to set up mail forwarding at the post office, well, I guess you'll have to buy a postal box with, I used to have a P.O. box, and I got rid of it because I'd let it. I didn't want to go to the post office every goddamn day, so it would get stuffed.
Yeah, I think you realize how much trouble I'm in because I can't really walk around like you think I can.
No, I'm aware that you have a severe mobility issue, and so I can intellectualize that you're basically up shit's creek.
Yeah.
Well, maybe something will come along.
Unless, of course, something miraculous happens.
Nothing's coming along.
No news on the front.
Never will. No.
Whatever you do, no matter what it takes, do not lose that laptop.
I'm not likely to have a choice when it comes to it.
Well, you're probably if you go onto the streets again, chances are all you can carry is what would fit into a backpack. Make sure that laptop is one of those things, because occasionally you'll be able to find a Wi-Fi spot where you could do a very brief internet interaction. Because, yeah, like you said, if you try to sit there all day, they'll throw you out unless you're constantly purchasing coffee and snacks and shit, which obviously you won't be able to do.
But if you don't have refrigeration, you're dead within 3 days, right?
Not quite that fast, but it doesn't go bad all at once, number one, and yeah, it's complicated.
Well, you can get a cooler with ice. You have to buy it. You have to carry it.
And I carry it how? Yeah.
Skateboard?
Refrigerator packs are expensive and heavy.
Yeah, I buy it how, carry it how.
Yeah, you really need
My hands are full anyway.
Secure place to go.
And there isn't going to be one.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying keep the laptop is because even though you will obviously lose 24/7 internet access, because your phone service is obviously going to get cut off, intermittent access is better than no access at all. And so there's means of, well, the Dropbox style communications.
I don't think you have an idea of how bad a pickle I'm in.
No, I don't have an idea how bad your pickle is, but I mean, what I mean is, when I say Dropbox, I'm not referring to the data storage client. I'm referring more along the lines of old-fashioned methods of espionage, where you'd have a rock or a hollow stone or a hollow brick in a wall that you would drop a message off on that would be occasionally checked. I'm using that as an analogy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, for instance, The data connection is actually less of a constraint than the power and battery.
Yeah. I have no idea what state your laptop's battery is in, but if you can reach a plug with Wi-Fi, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes.
Trouble getting it charged ever, and doing anything while it's charged and so on.
Public libraries are also another possibility, but yeah, but I understand the mobility issue makes all that exceptionally difficult.
Makes all of it a starter. Yeah, we're actually talking about more issues with getting arrested for not making it out of the wrong areas, because I can't walk like I used to.
Well, your actual physical infirmity would be a defense against any charges that they levied against you if they arrested you. And I don't know, they're not allowed to seize. Well, they may confiscate your stuff, but they have to give it all back.
Yeah, it's not that clean and easy.
No, nothing ever is. I'm aware that I'm probably underestimating how difficult things will be, even though I am trying to estimate things being exceptionally difficult.
Do you have any kind of like monthly income at all, like to put towards rent or
Patreon.
That's it?
That's it.
Nothing from the government?
No. They cut it all off. And the government stuff was basically a card I couldn't spend anywhere but the bodega.
And they cut off your food stamps too.
That was the card. I couldn't spend anywhere else.
So even if you had a place to live, you wouldn't have any money to eat.
Yeah, and it's all winding down. It's all going to stop.
The one thing they absolutely have to do, if you're in the prison system for whatever reason, is they have to feed you and they have to give you medical care.
That's all that's all nice theory. Type 1s die in prison all the time, and well, throw in other complicating factors and don't last long at all. Add the trans and last even shorter.
Yeah, I know. It's, well, I don't know. I need to be clearer with my language. I'm trying to say, yes, I get that. Because even healthy people die in prison all the time. Because prisons are, well, they don't protect their prisoners from other prisoners.
Guards do some damage too. It's a lot of damage. Even the whole other prisoner thing is a lot of times the guard's doing a setup operation and so on. it's like, okay, well, that bitch in protective custody you're dying to get at. Hey, just walk in the door. They both stuff like that.
Well, you've got experience in that area better than I have, but wait, not better. Geez, English language sucks, or at least my use of it does. Yeah, you need to bounce around shelters or something, but a suitcase is going to be too big to lug around. I've seen that in the background of
shelter theories are all well and good, but don't comport with reality.
Yeah. I don't suppose you do have a decent backpack, do you?
I have one, of course, but what good does it do me?
What good it does you is that you can pack your absolute basic essentials in it. And your laptop, I'm telling you, is one of them.
That's a lovely theory. Anyway.
Well, I think it's actually a fact. And there are ways to pack clothes to make them compact. I don't know how much clothing you actually still have.
Not very much.
Not very much. So it's not going to take up a lot of space. And obviously, the medication that you're required to take, whether it requires refrigeration or not, have that. Well, this must all be obvious to you because based on your responses, I'm getting that you've been at the level you're talking about before.
Well, in terms of the sort of environmental situation, yeah. In terms of my own health, if I'm put into that kind of environment, well, no. That's a one-way street. Every time I've been put out there, it's broken me down. And I'm starting from pretty close to gone to begin with. Right. This time.
Yeah,
This time it's the end.
The health issue is the one that is. I just cannot think myself around it. I mean, if you were healthy, it'd be much, much easier, obviously. But all those different health issues piled on top of that you've got piled up, that's just, it exceeds.
I realized I started off as one.
Yeah.
Right. All it took was, enough years on this, breaking me down further and further. They're almost, except for basically the orchid itself having, the sex hormones gone and the thyroid dying from the autoimmune response triggered by that. Everything else is a complication of type 1. cardiomyopathy, gastroparesis. Well, being labile is just degradation and stability of the condition or whatever. So. Get piling on more and more years of the unstable environment, denial of healthcare, etc. And I'm broken down in so many pieces. People who have type 1 who live in poverty and so on usually make it about 16 years after onset.
15 years?
16 years, yes. I'm 20 years after.
Man.
Granted, I don't know, about 9 years or whatever of stable conditions and such might have cut a few or added a few years onto that, but not that much. I've still never seen a real endocrinologist in my life. Not even now, 3 dead glands and radically destabilized type 1 amongst us.
Type 1 diabetes, right?
Don't say the D word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, basically, people are play some kind of blame the victim game, saying, "Oh, well, it's a D word, so it must be that thing that fat people get." It's like, oh, for fuck's goddamn sake. The weight gain was from my fucking thyroid dying. It's recent, 2012. Anytime you've got solid, solid like 20 plus years before that, whereas pretty consistent height and weight, and so on and so forth. So, not just that, type 1 doesn't come from that endogenous or whatever. It doesn't come from behavior or lifestyle. It comes from autoimmune destruction of the pancreas. It's like, nope, they gotta pull the blame the victim card. You did it to yourself, you deserve everything you get. Die, 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 you piece of shit. You fat fuck, you die. You deserve it.
I hope you
Oh boy. Have you seen people of Walmart?
Type 2 diabetes is exactly what no one understands. There's a difference. The names sound too much alike, and they all assume it's type 1. They all assume.
Yeah.
Sorry, they all assume it's type 2. They all assume it's type 2. They all assume it's a lifestyle thing from.
Yeah, type 2 is easy.
Fat ass glutton.
In fact, type 2 sometimes you don't even need medication for.
Yeah, that's the horseshit they cut me with.
But my dad has type 2. He's taking medication for it, but otherwise you would never know. Obviously, type 1, that's just... well, that's the one that they call juvenile so-and-so, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's vicious and evil. And
in principle, as long as you have like stable healthcare, living conditions, and so on, it's most of the time it actually is more manageable in type 2. I mean, the consequences of interruptions in the management are harder, or harsher, but it's supposed to be, if you're not fucking people over the way the U.S. does, more manageable. And
Right.
well, guess what? 2 years on the street, radically destabilized.
Yeah.
On top of.
I mean.
On top of 2 more dead glands, right? So.
Yeah, because ideal situation with type 1 is you just get a built-in insulin pump that you just have to keep topped off, and it measures your blood glucose level and so on and so forth.
That doesn't matter.
Takes care of you.
That doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, it really has to do more with just making the list pro or fast. Excuse me. All it has to do is just making the list for a fast acting dosage line up or match what you eat. So on. You could eat 10,000 calories a day, but all you gotta do is take enough type 1 or take enough the list pro to cover it. So.
Well, I'm just saying it automates the process of having to manually measure your blood glucose and measure your.
Doesn't automate that much.
Yeah, that's what.
Doesn't actually have the measurement for blood glucose. The reagents and such are, not in infinite supply.
Okay, I've been oversold on what the technical.
Stuff about trying to measure it through the eyes. The stuff about trying to measure it through the eyes is one of the ways it might try to do it without reagents. But in the meantime, the reagents are kind of a secondary affair, and I don't think they really exist in liquid form and so on. So, you're still pricking your fingers, still punching in the doses or whatever into the thing. And, well, because the reservoir, whatever, is not infinite, you actually still have to, keep refilling it, which means still having jab yourself with needles to get to the thing. It doesn't actually do all that much.
Well, I understand that it would have to be refilled and presumably kept charged by a battery. That maybe I'm just picturing in my mind an induction charger for that, but which struck me as
or battery replacements, another son of a bitch. I mean, essentially, any kind of instability in your healthcare living situation, so on, and I think it's a doorstop. And on top of that, like I said, all the same kind of maintenance is still there, and it gets in the way of all kinds of like swimming, nudity, and so on and so forth. Not that anybody wants to see me naked at this point. Maybe 50 to 70 pounds from now they might, but still.
Assuming such a thing existed, would a pancreas transplant fix the issue? Or is type 1 caused by something that attacks the pancreas, making it
It's caused by immune system attacking the pancreas. In principle, pancreas transplant would do better than, say, stem cells generated from your own body, because the autoimmunity and so on would in principle not be provoked by something with a different sort of protein coating or something like that.
So
I'm not really sure offhand what they say the potential fixes or something like that. But they're, number one, only for rich people. And number two, probably don't even actually exist yet.
I see. So the pancreas transplant, assuming it's a available option, would also have to be supplemented with a lifetime supply of some kind of drug that prevents your new pancreas from getting killed by your body.
Cyclosporin, yeah. The yeah, it's not something that's really there today in a genuine way. You're mostly talking about new technology not yet invented.
Yeah, that's yeah, that is a bit of a wrench in the works there.
Yeah, same thing with my thyroid, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Say try replacing it with stem cell thyroids, and well, autoimmunity's there, and it matches the antibodies, right? And if it doesn't match, then well, you've got the truly foreign rejection as well.
It's unfortunate they can't do brain transplants. You'd be an actual candidate for that. Have your brain transplanted into a healthy female body. How such a host would be found, I have no clue. But yeah, and of course, hooking up the brain to the spinal column, obviously insanely complex, way beyond our medical technology for at least 100 years or more.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Sure would solve your problems, though.
Not all of them. I mean, my face would still be...
No, if your brain was in a proper female body, then...
Well, they don't unplug the brain. They don't unplug the brain. They try to do whole heads. Just reconnect spine. Not very successful, but they still try it. At least on animals.
Yeah, unfortunately, it only takes a few minutes of oxygen starvation to kill off the brain cells. I mean, it's basically what happened to Terry Schiavo when she was on her big weight loss kick, you know, and got herself looking hot and everything. And then, because of a severe potassium deficiency due to her dietary choices, she had a heart attack, and I think it was a good 10 or 15 minutes worth of brain starvation going on there. So once they got it going again, there was nobody home.
I've got most of my cardiac stress comes from ketoacidosis and so on. It's kind of why I had a heart attack afterward in 2012 because for fuck's sake, William. Would you mind?
Sure.
Welcome, Rodney. Yeah. Holy fuck, I just muted you for a friggin' reason. Welcome, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney.
So, if I can get this out.
All right, everyone.
Yeah, Rodney.
Welcome. Yeah, stress in my heart that broke it down and, you know, eventually led to the heart attack in 2012 was from ketoacidosis, repetitive ketoacidosis in 2010 when I was out on the street. Then, of course, he started throwing a lot more ketoacidosis at me, being out on the street again. Then, well, those, you know, arrhythmias after the tachycardia could turn into much bigger problems. I mean, it could get outright. I don't know, MIs or cardiac arrest, whatever, from whatever breaks down with too much tachycardia. As well as, the persisting damage from the repetitive ketoacidosis, causing heart attack as a standalone event.
Yeah, your last ketosis, acid ketosis event was, you were very fortunate to have been, even though it was not live at the time, your hangout was still going on, and people, were there
Called on my behalf, yeah.
to help you, which somehow I don't see happening on the street.
That's why they'll kill me.
And even if they did call you an ambulance in time and everything, they'd probably steal your shit.
Yeah. That's also going to happen. Backpack everything.
Yeah, that really fucking does suck, because it's like you'll basically just vanish from the world. And yeah, I don't like that. I really don't. I know it's worse for you. I don't want to sound selfish or anything, but it's fucked up, and I do not approve.
Welcome to America. And hello to the UK.
Yeah, hi, it's a bit of a strange situation, isn't it? I don't think anyone really approves of, the devaluation of humanity, of humans, of anyone, or even animals. We've got a lot of animal rights movements going on, and even plants, save the trees and all that. When it comes to life, I think we do, for some reason, value life above and beyond what we value, machines. So whether we're right or wrong, I think that inherently we all believe and treat and act as if we're a lot more than just mechanical robots. I mean, look, if you've got tons of robots that are all slightly different, and one of them, just needs a little bit, effort, a little bit of effort than the others, what do? You throw it away. There's no reason to put that effort in unless you've got some kind of obsessive compulsive order about collecting all the different types. I mean, people throw away old watches when they start, when it gets to the point where it's more cost effective to throw it away than it is to get it repaired, throw it away. And, I think we all do that, and we don't feel that that's a problem. But as soon as we start to have an ideology where humans and mechanisms are equated, then it becomes a bit tricky to say, well, then you become, you're able to justify doing that same, treating people in that same way, and that it devalues, it becomes inhumane. That's what it is. It's inhumane, isn't it? And I know that America's got a big Christian population, and they don't necessarily. But sorry, go on.
That's probably a good point to raise regarding, well, I guess maybe persons other than myself. On the other hand, actually, I do value machines more highly than that. I do sort of see them as almost, well, they're clearly short of sentient, but at the same time, not things to be so casually thrown away. That metal will take 100 million years to rust and be scattered to the ocean and turn into an iron deposit or deposits of everything else too. That's I don't see all this disposability is, or anything like that, applying to even the inanimate.
Yeah, you know, I've got an old Amiga upstairs somewhere. I'm quite sentimental about that, but you know, at the end of the day, if I had I've had like before, I had like 2 Amigas, so I thought, wow, I don't need 2. I sold one on eBay. No, I had 3 actually. One of them, there was a BIOS problem on one, so I just binned that. I think it was useless. Oh no, I tried to change the BIOS on one of them. I think it was I can't remember exactly what happened now, but I scratched the motherboard and made it useless. So I just binned it. You know, at the end of the day, we do have a sort of that we can be sentimental towards complex mechanisms. That's right. But I think that when we have other copies of them, when we have other examples of them and stuff, it becomes, you know, it's not the kind of sentimentality that we have. Like even if there's 2 identical twins or 2 clones, you know, they're basically biological clones of each other. We don't say, well, you know, we've got one example of this. You know, even if you expand that and say that you've got a whole town of like clones, you wouldn't say, well, we've got lots of examples of this exact type. You know, I think that there is something about you know, humans that makes us have a sort of we project something else other than just mechanism. I mean, look, you know, if you've got loads of PCs, for instance, off of a factory, you know, and they're all identical, they've all been made it to the exact same specifications. They are all the exact same. You know, they're carbon copies of each other, basically. I think that, you know, we don't value. You might get one and think, well, I really like this computer. This is like, you know, the best computer I've ever had, and you evaluate it in that sort of way, as if it's like because of its use. But then when it becomes useless, you might say, well, because of the time that I had with it, then it's got a sentimental value to me. It's not actually got any intrinsic value of its own. You know, so it's all in relation to its use to you, or the memories that it, you know, regenerates in you. But of itself, it doesn't seem to have that. But whereas people have this kind of intrinsic value, even if they're no value to you, even if we've got loads of copies of them, even if they're, you know, sort of useless or whatever, you know, they've still got that. You know, in the old, we say that we've morally improved the societies, haven't we? We look after the sort of sick now. You know, people that, you know, don't from a purely functional societal point of view.
In the UK, you do.
Yeah, at least definitely. Yeah, at least in some places, like the UK, for instance, we look after people that are not really going to be, as far as we know, they're not going to be able to contribute much to society, but we don't want them to die. We spend a lot of money on specialist medication and special doctors and nurses to make their life as comfortable and extend it as long as possible, because, you know, we have this idea that just the conscious experience of life. I mean, look, there's that famous story about that girl that she couldn't communicate. She was deaf and she was blind, and somebody really persevered with her, didn't they? And
Helen Keller?
Water over. Yeah, I mean, we all know the story. I forget the name now, but you know, the point being is that from a purely functional point of view, you know, what would be, there's no justification really, but then in the future, she's given us a huge insight onto matters of philosophy of mind and this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Cognition and whatnot. So, and look at Stephen Hawking, you know, luckily for him, before he fell into his condition, into the severe sort of symptoms of his condition, luckily for him, he'd already made, you know, fundamental progress in core physics, right, and cosmology. But, you know, even so, you know, it does say he didn't make them contributions. Say he didn't go to Oxford. Maybe he fell into that condition, and maybe we looked after him, and maybe then he read about physics and like educated himself in that, and then come up with fundamental theories. You know, the whole idea, I think, with value in humans is not even about what they might contribute. So that's where it becomes this sort of slippery slope. We can say, wow, maybe in the future they're going to do something, or because of some of their experiences, maybe 100 years into the future, we're going to make some breakthrough, and this is going to be the key evidence. I mean,
I'd say.
Mind if I interrupt?
Yeah, no, go for it.
I just got this huge backlog.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got this huge backlog. I want to get it out before I forget it. One, as far as the Amigas, my grandfather had a collection of them, including a laser disc burner, which he all threw into the tip. And I really wish I could have had those machines, even today. As far as Stephen Hawking goes, yeah, he suffered a period of depression before and was not even going to complete his PhD program when he got diagnosed, but he managed to get out of that rut somehow. I don't remember, but it's mentioned in his first edition of A Brief History in Time. 3, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, spending all their efforts on immunizations in Africa when there are plenty of people in the United States who could have their lives dramatically improved if they had that kind of money spent to help them out. I'm sorry to have bullet pointed all this. I wanted to get it out very quickly. Anyway, go ahead, Nadia.
Well, I would say the thing to be valued is, of course, sentience and not sapience. And secondly, that, well, that's more of a distinguishing factor regarding life and other things of material. But you still do value the material. And beyond that, well, robots and such, I guess, of sufficient, functionality and whatnot, are things that I would deem, on par with humans. So there we go.
Yeah, it is. Someone said a while ago, this idea of like sentience, this sort of first-person perspective principle.
It's not first-person perspective. It's feeling, essentially, like, feeling suffering and harm, and feeling well-being and joy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure we can both program a computer so that if you step on something that we then place on the floor too hard, it screams. But none of us are going to say it's suffering. It's literally has this button being pressed beyond such and such a speed. If so, play this sound. So it's where you draw the line, and this is the thing, Nadia. I don't think you do draw the line, do you? You believe that you don't. Sorry, go on.
I'd include the computers.
Okay, but then right, yeah. So but so where do you draw the line with what sort of entails that we should sort of worry about its sort of feelings in that way? Because obviously none of us are going to say that a short couple of lines of code which measures how quick a button's pressed and then screams if it's above some threshold is actually feeling anything like pain, although that is what we might recognize. We might think, oh, we might jump. You step on the lead a bit quick, and you hear that scream. You're going to jump and say, oh, what have I done? You're going to immediately feel that you've inflicted some sort of suffering on some like conscious entity. But obviously, I don't think either of us would say that is actually the case. But if you want to say that we, on the one hand, if you want to be in a limit of materialist, but on the other hand say that there is some kind of line that you can draw to say that something has these things, then I don't see how you can draw that, because the mind really is just, from your point of view, kind of an illusion. So any motion of matter does, in fact, is equivalent to some kind of an algorithmic entity, which means then that every piece of matter has got some kind of conscious state.
Mind is an inappropriate or invalid conceptualization, but
yeah,
like phlogiston, fire still exists, right? So the concept is attempting to describe something, but the description is so inappropriate you can't. The abstraction is no longer deemed admissible or usable, and so on.
Yeah, so when we talk about, when we say the word mind, we mean something that none of us understands what yet. But from your point, but I believe that there is something like this sort of fire stuff. It may not operate as we are intuiting it to operate, but there is a reality to it somewhere, whatever it may be. But you believe it's kind of like a sort of information artifact, like the processing of our computers are sort of information artifacts of the movements of the way in which we can constrain the matter movements, the dynamics of the electron charges on chips in our computers, right? So in that respect, then anything that maps onto an algorithm that can be sort of deluded into, we could be deluded into thinking that there is some kind of mind state, whereas mind is the wrong word, obviously, because it's not really got a mind. It is just the way in which its parts are configured, which just happen to be, obviously, mostly we're going to configure these parts precisely because they happen to be analogous to an algorithm which does the algorithmic, it operates an algorithm, essentially. It's an embodiment of an algorithm. So even though the algorithm doesn't really exist and it's got no real sort of reality to it, the matter stuff that is the embodiment of that algorithm, that exists, and that is what we mean mind. It's this deluded piece of matter that, it doesn't really experience the equivalent algorithmic entity, but it might act as if it does, because that's just the way it's configured. That's by the laws of physics. It's just gonna, it's just one of them sort of epiphenomena of being constrained to embody an algorithm. You've not really embodied anything. The
arguments well, it's not epiphenomenalism regarding experience. It's again the same kind of phlogiston and fire. It's another inappropriate conceptualization.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, though. But yeah, so if we say that it's an inappropriate conceptualization of what's actually going on, but what is actually going on? All that's going on is like a dynamic state of of matter. It's been constrained in a certain way, so that when we press these buttons, it sort of follows these pathways, and then these things light up on the display. And we've constrained it in that way so that it does, addition, for instance. It embodies the algorithm of addition on a calculator. Or we can press this button and we switch it. So there's a whole new constrained circuit now is being the matter is sort of being focused through, the movements are being focused through, and that might be multiplication. The algorithm that is that configuration is equivalent to the algorithm of multiplication. Now, the calculator is not really having a kind of multiplication or addition experience. This is just the way in which we sort of our folk psychology can easily conceptualize what's going on. Really, it's just a configuration of matter which we've constrained in such a way that it embodies these algorithms because they're useful to us. Just like that's all the brain would be doing. But then, from that point of view, then every interaction is equivalent to one or more algorithmic ideals, shall we say? So then we can use the same folk psychology, this same sort of general intuition to refer to. So when I say, oh, you know, this person I know has feelings, they have experience, they have perceptions. That's the same as me saying, that's actually equivalent to me saying this thermometer has perceptions of heat and has an experience of heat. It's actually, there's no difference on your worldview. That's what I'm saying, because really the configuration of matter, the way it's constrained, it's just embodying some sort of algorithm or not. And there is no, the epiphenomenalism which we project onto that doesn't really have any kind of reality in reality, you know. So I mean, who was it that said,
you
like,
say
you
there's
know,
just well, hang on. You say there's, you know, just these things, as if, you know, they're viewed as not having, you know, value and whatnot, but they do, or they are value, right? At the same time, the sort of like, was it black box behavioral sort of connection is not all that's being examined.
yeah, oh yeah, I know. We're both unaware of what's actually going on and how it actually, you know, how it actually is that our brain gives rise to the kind of things that we believe that we're experiencing. But, you know, that's what I mean. But I posit that there is some kind of, you know, reality to mind stuff, essentially. It's not just a folk word that is illusionary, it's delusory at best, basically. I don't believe it is that. I believe that there's an actual reality to it somehow that is actually is not just a trick. You know, it's not an epiphenomena. It's actually, I believe that it's the prime. You know, I'm an idealist. I believe that's the prime reality of things. So, but from the other point of view, if you believe that it's the prime reality is kind of just interacting matter, you know, dynamic interplay of various parts and various laws under various laws, then you know, I understand what that would mean. For instance, I understand that would mean that in a way theism is actually true on that point of view, but it doesn't mean what theists think it means. So in a way the whole universe is a dynamic state of interacting matter, and depending on what you want to look at, but just simply that gives you that it is equivalent to various kind of embodied algorithms. And although there's no sort of reality to the algorithms themselves, it's you know, it's fairly similar to anything else that is constrained in such a way that it exhibits, you know, embodied algorithms. So in a way, you can't deny as soon as you deny mind stuff, everything has mind stuff, you know, because you're not separating it from anything else. Anything that undergoes any kind of interaction is like, you can come up with some construction, some formalism which says, okay, this is what's going on, and that formalism then is the kind of mind, the kind of folk psychological labeling of its mind, what it experiences, even if it is only just like a proto kind of mind, like a thermometer. You wouldn't think that there's very much complexity.
Well,
Yeah.
it says a little more in that monism, you know, categorizes, you know, my mind as being like all other things in the universe, right? Because monism is only one substance, right? It's all the same substance.
Yeah, so on both of our views,
mind,
that's right.
Either one, yeah. Any kind of monism, even neutral monism.
Yeah, that's right. So either way, you know, it all sort of becomes one anyway. But the point is, I think, is the key point is which one is like which one's got the sort of real reality, you know, which one is the more concrete, you know. From my point of view, I believe it's the mind stuff that's the most concrete. From your point of view, so from my point of view, I believe the mind stuff's more concrete, and the concrete stuff is just the sort of figment of your imagination, right? From your point of view, it's the complete opposite way around, that the concrete stuff, the matter stuff, that's real. That's concrete. And the imagination stuff, that's just a figment of your imagination, which doesn't even exist to other, you know. But, you know, I see what you mean there, but it becomes difficult to sort of conceptualize anywhere where that can actually be true, because as soon as, because we know we have that, so whatever that is, you know, so from my point of view, we don't know that we have that matter is like has any kind of reality to it. If you look into like physics, you can see that they're going towards a kind of, they're pittering away at the reality of matter all the time. Whereas it's hard to imagine how you can pitter away at the reality of mind, because whatever you do, you end up saying that, you know, this is what it is, maybe, but it's still going to be there. Whatever, yeah, you know, maybe we can say, look, you know, there's some, given this sort of configuration of matter, given, you know, given all these constraints, essentially, then you end up with something.
Want to put away the reality of mind? Just watch people listen to them, saying the same things over and over, doing the same things over and over. Very much robots.
I'm not sure that would say that the mind isn't sort of, you know, a thing. You know, that would just say that it's predictable. You know, but yeah, that would definitely be evidence for your point of view, and there is evidence. That's right. But you know, at the end of the day, we do experience.
Directly
that's the one
evidence. It's less directly of evidence as it is, you know, that well, the appearance and image of it, right? It has the appearance and image of you know, being not the kind of mindless robot, that philosophical zombie.
Well, yeah, but you know,
all you have to do is watch.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to say that we don't mostly act as, you know, fairly autonomous. We don't. Most people sort of fizz through their days, and they, you know, they tend to have very small amounts of time where they stand back and really think about things, and you know, so I think that that's a part of the choice that we've got, but I think that we have got that choice. So although it's easy to sit back and say, wow, you know, these people, you know, you can easily model all these interactions with such a simple algorithm. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to deny that, but there still are going to be them outliers, because we have that choice, and we can, you know, stop and think, and somebody might see you, and then you've got a sort of game theoretic problem. You know, so I think that it's not as simple as that, and most people already were well aware, you know, that everybody was. Yeah.
We actually don't go about you know, true game theory and whatnot. We use I guess the sort of behavioral patterns described in behavioral economics, which are affairs like satisficing, as opposed to genuine optimization.
Well, there's lots of very good models that are, you know, very useful and fairly accurate, but I don't think anyone's saying that they're, you know, I mean, statistically they're highly accurate, yeah, but they're very chaotic as well, and small changes in, you know, some sort of external event can make huge differences, and you know, I think it's some sort of jumping the gun a little bit, just to say, look, you know, under sort of normal conditions, we can, you know, this sort of slice of time in this sort of slice of culture, you know, we can show that the dynamics, you know, pretty much akin to this sort of simple model here. To then jump the gun and say, therefore, all these agents are acting according to these sort of so the agents may be very well using these simple rules to interact in these complex ways, but that doesn't mean that the minds of the agents or the brains of the agents are only able to act in them sort of simple ways. I mean, we often think about things quite deeply, and then we go ahead and then we react to them. I mean, even athletes will sit there and think very deeply about every little motion that they make. so that when they then do the gymnast or do the running, the hurdles or the high jump or whatever, they can do it all in a reactionary way without even thinking about it. So that doesn't mean that they haven't put a lot of thought in and decided on every little detail. It just means that when they actually act, they've already got all that settled, so that they can act very spontaneously, quickly, and you know, if you had to deliberate on every little bit of input, you wouldn't get very far, would you? You know, in day-to-day activity. So I think most people are very aware that we're not expecting in everyday activity for people to be showing signs of a high level of deliberation over their actions. We know that people, all of us, you know, day to day, we've already decided on the kind of people we want to be and how we want to react and how we want to fit in and not fit in different situations. And it's there, it's ready just to be sort of activated and reacted upon, you know, so. Anyway, I'll let someone else cut in for, you know, I don't want to hog the mic and that. Parasite,
Yeah.
a cup of tea.
I was hoping to do likewise.
We always tend to argue about this issue, and you know, I think it's a good point to you know, sort of flesh out, because obviously I worry, see, Nadia, I worry that people get these ideas into their heads that we are just mechanisms, and then they devalue people. So I think that the key, I don't really care if we're mechanisms or not. I just don't want people to devalue others. Essentially, you know, I believe that we're not mechanisms. The main thing that I care about is the devaluation of people, which is a worry and can lead to all sorts of problems. And that's, you know. Anyway.
Mechanisms. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you know, I mean, if we ever do make strong AI, and we would know that it's 100% just a mechanism, yeah, you know, it does the kind of things we do, then I'd say that we should care about it and be humane towards it. You know, it's irrelevant, isn't it, how things are. The important thing is that what we want to do for the future and for each other, you know, however it is that we are, how we are.
I'd argue that mechanisms do have value, and that is, well, a horror and immoral. That, you know, things like cars and computers are, you know, thrown away willy-nilly, or even you know, cell phones or, well, pairs of scissors.
Wow! Imagine if cell phones were sentient and you recycled the damn things every 2 years. Literally, you know, threw them into a machine that crunched them up into little bits and flakes that were separated and rearranged back into new devices or whatever. It's like the poor things. It'd be like pigs in the abattoir, you know, screaming as they're thrown into the recycling machine.
They don't need to be sentient for it to be moral.
Yeah, but I mean, speaking from my own personal experience, which is obviously quite subjective, you know, I feel like I'm alive. I feel that I'm a person. I'm aware of a world that I believe exists outside of me, and I empathize with other artifacts in the world, like, you know, human beings and animals and such. And it has to come from somewhere. And my worldview basically says, well, physics must be accounting for this in some way that we have not been able to describe yet. Because, well, I just don't believe in anything supernatural. But
I, of course, empathize with humans, and I say, you empathize with humans most highly, but I empathize with more. I empathize with, you know, cats and dogs, and lizards and toads, and worms, and
yeah,
bacteria.
I like my cats.
And not just that, but, you know, computers and cars and books and houses, and well, my disposable needles. And,
I have had attachment. Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I have had, though, attachment to actual physical things that no one would assume are sentient or alive or anything. Just plain old. Well, that's a nice set of little clippers you got there.
Scissors. It's a clearly not sentient, but still has value.
Yeah. I attach value to my motorcycle. I've actually got a strong sentimental value to it. There is a very high probability that I'm not ever going to be able to purchase a new motorcycle. So I'm probably got the only motorcycle I'm ever going to have. I've got a car from 1998 that I still don't feel like trading in or selling or upgrading, simply because lack of use. There's various calculations involved in that. But the fact of the matter is there's nothing wrong with it yet. Although it does leak coolant when it gets really, really, really cold. But yeah, I form sentimental attachments.
Why degrade it by calling it sentimental?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to sound derogatory. I don't have a negative connotation in my mind associated with the word sentimental. In fact.
And how is it a mere attachment to you, and not an objective value?
Well, I mean, it is an object of value. When I have a sentimental attachment to an object, I consider it of value, regardless of its monetary worth or value to others. That is, I ascribe my own value to it. And when I say I have sentimental value for something, I mean that I'm placing a higher value on it than if I simply said, oh, well, this is worth X number of dollars. So for me, the word sentimental is not a negative connotation, but rather a positive one.
At the risk of almost raising transhumanism, how is I would say a prosthetic foot any less a part of someone, and so valued as highly as, well, part of a foot, or a foot of a person who's not had an amputation?
Well, when we start going into that kind of thing,
this exists now.
Here's the thing you should know about me. I mean, I've never really flat out admitted it, but I actually have no problem with a voluntary eugenics style program, whether you, in a number of forms. For example, you choose not to procreate because you don't want to pass down genes that you don't like, or you want to retroactively modify your own DNA. Now, this is leaping into technology that we don't have, but you want to start literally engineering yourself or your own species for improvements along aesthetic lines, and perhaps functional ones also. For example, we have a gene in our body for producing vitamin C, but it's broken and inactive. Wouldn't it be cool if it was reactivated? You know, we just patch it, fix it, reactivate it, and now we can produce vitamin C. So we no longer are subject to scurvy just because we don't eat enough citrus fruits.
That'd be a nice idea.
So, I mean, I think in terms of improvement of the human condition and quality of life.
That's all certainly worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a trick here.
I know it can be used for
that's a
evil,
good argument, and
but all good tools can be used for evil.
yeah, that's right. I mean, personally, I don't want to get into the evolution debate, but I don't believe in evolution. So I believe that, it's actually a necessity for us to, if we want to survive as a species, it's a necessity for us to re-engineer our genome, because it's broken and it's going to only get more broken. And not only that, but it's also a necessity to keep everybody alive no matter what. If we can keep them alive, it's absolutely vital that we keep everybody alive no matter what their condition. Because we're losing genetic information. It's spread out all over the place. We need to collect everybody's genetic information. We need to get everybody, get it all onto a computer and do an analysis so that we can reconstitute the unbroken, genome, and then refix it. And that may be the only way in which we can survive as a species. So, I think we need to sort of bear that in mind. If that's even a possibility, then it becomes extremely, imperative for us to keep everybody alive and to just keep that on the back burner until we have more information about that.
Well,
so that is another
I don't think
reason to look after people.
I would say that it is. It would represent a large improvement to quality of life by preventing numerous cases of highly degraded quality of life that doesn't have that same kind of necessity you're putting out.
Yeah.
It's a moral imperative. It's a moral imperative.
Yeah.
Right?
Eliminating
we have the
for example.
Yeah. We have the moral imperative to go about alleviating suffering.
Yeah. I had a friend in
the next thing was
that
I raised
also
that condition of the status of a prosthetic foot of an amputee versus I guess natural foot of someone who hasn't had their foot amputated.
Yeah.
Is the prosthetic foot a part of them? Is it any less valuable than, say, the foot of the person who's not been amputated?
It's a prosthetic foot is better than no foot at all, and I'd be all for improving the quality of the foot. And actually, my philosophy is built around the idea that evolution is in fact true.
Yeah, but from that point of view, you want people to sort of die out and like the good genes to take over and this kind of thing.
No. I want to apply our knowledge to improve the quality of life of humans and to improve the planet, make things better. Obviously, though, those are terms that are purely subjective because, I mean, Hitler thought things would be better off without the Jews, and obviously that was a horrifically evil thing.
It's not about slaughtering the sick.
Right. It's about making them better.
Well, beyond just making them better, the question of passing on the kinds of genes that make them sick is something we need to address through technology instead of the evolutionary process. The evolutionary process exists and would carry out a sort of elimination by itself that's kind of left to its own devices, but it's also an immoral thing. It's also something based on suffering and death and whatnot.
I would
What
say,
doesn't survive doesn't breed. Excuse me. What doesn't survive doesn't breed, and so on and so forth. Where, yeah, the need sort of desire and whatnot for people to have progeny, as much as I don't understand it, is something that provides some kind of benefit. At the same time, you want to prevent the harm to the progeny that might arise from passing on genetic diseases. And there's technology to do that.
uh-oh, did I freeze?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
But if she dropped, she's awake, so she comes straight back in.
Hope so. Didn't
Yeah.
happen last time.
Yeah, unless her internet's gone down for a bit, Hopefully not. Yeah, I mean, the problem with these kind of like, we should do this and that and the other, I think that we've got to be very careful what it is we're doing, because we can't see the bigger picture. So we might say, look, let's stop the suffering, let's get rid of these genes, let's fix these genes. And then 100 years later, we might realize that them genes that we got rid of and fixed, in them were the key to save the human race. But now we've got rid of them from the population, we're all doomed, and there's nothing we can do about it. We don't have enough time to solve the, the mathematical problem of, searching for it,
Well, the solution to that is to maintain the genetic variety.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I reckon we should do. But the problem with that is, there's going to be some people that are in a lot of pain, they're suffering a lot, and we really don't want, we don't want to say, okay, what they call it, some kind of suicide, assisted suicide. We don't want them to do that, because really we want to, sort of keep them alive as long as possible. Hopefully, we want them to spread their genes so that it maintains a part of the population. So,
well, once you've passed reproductive age, as far as evolution is concerned, you no longer matter.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So that would be a limiting factor on that. So that is a good point to bear in mind. That's right.
But
yeah.
I see nothing wrong with artificial selection and even genetic engineering of human beings. It's a question of who is doing the selection. I mean, sexual selection already takes place. Women, for example, are going to be interested in a good husband, and men are going to be interested in a good wife. And also, of course, there's the accidental breeding that goes along with the premarital sex. But, I mean, those are all real things.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the Gattaca dystopian road either, but it is a complicated issue.
I think it gets so difficult when you want to say, look, at the end of the day, I think that if people are left to do what they feel is right for them, then it's a lot more sort of open to its own sort of dynamic stabilities. Whereas if you have a kind of top-down governmental sort of this is what we're going to do, and everybody's going to be forced to do it like this, then I think that's where you can get these problems that, because it's lacks variety. As soon as you say, look, let people decide what they want to do themselves, you're going to get a certain proportion of people that are going to say, okay, I want to have a complete genetically engineered super baby. Other people are going to be like, no, we're going to do it all naturally, let Gaia take over the subtle energies and all this. Everybody's different, so that will maintain a certain level, I believe, of variety.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with that. I don't want a top-down approach, because then you have these overlords that control everything, And I think that's really the last thing we want, because essentially that's what Hitler's Germany was like.
Yeah, that's right. I think that the sort of top-down approach that we have in many things of what we do at the moment is actually dangerous, I think, and causes more problems than it claims to solve. You know, so I'm pretty much against that for most things anyway. So I suppose I'm a bit biased anyway. But.
Yeah, I think a democratic approach is more natural.
Yeah, a proper democracy, you know, where they found, you know, a democracy, a sort of local democracies, a webwork of democracies, of a kind of hierarchy even of democracies, and this kind of thing is, you know, I'd be very interested in that kind of ideology. But, you know, I mean, we have a democracy now, don't we? But, you know, I mean, it's really broken down. I mean, I wouldn't call it a democracy. I don't know if you would, but if you would, I wouldn't agree with that.
The United States, I believe, is now a plutocratic state. Even though constitutionally it is still a republic, the people with the money run it.
Yeah, but even as even before that was obvious, say that